Hey guys, today we're gonna do a video where I'm just gonna talk very bluntly about um, my school experience being with the fact that I had a learning disability and my personal opinion on if you have a child or you have a someone who has a child with a disability, don't do what some friends of mine parents did. Don't talk to them like they can't do anything. And the funny thing with parents is they don't even mean to do it. Okay, it's it's a protective mechanism, right? Because you know they're gonna have issues socially to find friends. You know they're gonna have issues to find out who they are tenfold worse than what the average person does because um, like I just didn't like going outside personally myself because there was really nobody in our neighborhood too much. But even if there was, it's it's very tricky to find your footing. I remember in high school or even elementary school, I was the bully a little bit because I thought maybe that would be a fit. I'm not proud of it, but anyways, I was the hippie one, the one that tried to be like, yo, you know, Mother Nature, blah blah blah, and those are all great values when you're trying to find who you are, but you can't you can't be fake, and the majority of the time, people with disabilities end up being fake, and they don't even realize it by the time. Like, I mean, I didn't find myself till I was in my late 20s, and I wish I could take back some crap, man. Like, like for instance, high school. In high school, near the end of it, I was going through some crap personally, and I was just about to turn 19. I was a little bit behind in school because of a learning disability and different things like that. And you know, there was family issues going on. I had to move out with a parent, and my artistic endeavors were totally interrupted. Now, to be clear, I don't fault my parents anymore. They had their own issues, spiritually, emotionally. They were not secure in who they were, and nowadays that means more than what it should mean. But anyways, they they were going through their own stuff, trying to find out who they were. And the funny thing is, nowadays I don't think people really have a place to find out where they were, or I mean who they are. Sorry about that. Like for me, if I could offer one piece of advice, get your kids into art or into sports. Now, I'm not too much of a jock. I'm a TV movie junkie. I love it. It's got my creative juices flowing all the time. I'm not the best at spelling, but that's the way it is. Uh, you know, there is programs that can help with that. Dragon Dictate, blah blah blah, different things like that. But anyway, you have to let them find their passion, and you have to be on some level. You have to be willing to listen to them because when I was near the end of high school, I kind of said without too much clarity that I wanted to take a year off to focus on my art and my films and different things like that. And I ended up not doing it because adults were telling me, well, if you quit school, you're never going to go back and you don't want to do it. I went to school for 1 year. I loved it, But near the end of that year, I was kind of feeling empty because with the move and the interruptions in my art and in my goals, I just ended up like starting to lose myself. When you're starting, you got to be finding yourself by the time you're 18, 19, 20, you know. And now that I'm a little bit smarter and had time to reflect, I would say the best time to follow your dreams is when you're younger. Like Steven Spielberg study. Like if you, let's use me for an example. If you were into film, right, or you're into the arts, study the arts. And I don't mean like study the technique. Study. I mean that comes with it. But study the masters. Like watch the biographies of Steven Spielberg. Watch the biographies of Francis Ford Coppola. Watch biographies of actors, and you start to learn that the biggest ones that had the biggest success started when they were young. Like I mean, Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, he started Facebook in college. You know what I mean? Don't watch the movie. There's too much fiction in the movie. The Social Network. He didn't have a girlfriend. He didn't. There was liberties taken like there is with any movie. But watch the younger movies, and like if I could say anything to my parents nowadays, just listen, man. Because I was trying to tell them I want time for my art, and if I can't believe I'm saying this in today's social and economic climate, but take a year off of school. Another part of me thinks maybe I should have stayed in school. I could have stayed in high school till I was 21 because I had the learning disability and I was behind a little bit. And they were like, "No, you should get out of, go to the next step, go to college, do your thing." And another part of me, like, because they were putting me down and saying, "You can't be a filmmaker, you can't be a writer, your English is horrible." I thought, upon reflection, I should have stayed behind and just driven them nuts and proved them wrong. I will say, even though my parents were going through their own issues by the time I reached 19, 20, they did support the arts for me when I was in high school, and there was one time specifically actually where they let me leave school for a day to go work on a film set in my town. And you have to be willing to give a little bit of room. Let your child or teen with a disability do that stuff. You can't bottle them up, because I've talked to people and it starts to affect their social skills. Like I ran into an old friend of mine that I went to elementary school with, and she's in her 30s now, and we were talking, and she said, "Oh, I'm dating this person now." And I said, "Oh, who are you dating?" And she goes, "I'm not telling we used to date." And I was like, What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, we were in grade 2. I said, You can't count that. I'm not going to be childish and go, "What are you dating her for?" Like, no. It stunts their social growth. And I will explain more of this to the best of my ability in other videos. But I want to be clear again as I end this video now. Be willing to let your child or teen find something creatively, whether it's film or art. That would be my suggestion. But if they're into sports like bocce and discus and then do that too. But if they need a break from it, then don't. People change. You as parents cannot push a hobby down your teen or your child's throat. You can't do it. So it kind of goes both ways, right? Like my parents made a mistake by not listening to me when I was going. Like their emotional issues were affecting my art because I had to move with that parent. I told them in my heart I wanted to take a year off of school to focus on my art. They said, no, trust me, if you leave, you're not gonna, like, you need to let them talk about this stuff. These, you can actually talk it out as a family. Don't just flat out say no. I will try to best of my ability to explain this a little bit better, maybe. If anybody has any comments, please comment. Please note to comment on this channel or anything due to some subject matter, because we do support spiritual and medical use of marijuana, then you have to be 18 to comment on this page. Thank you. Thank you.